Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. So, we're going to be talking a little bit about our greatest ally in the Middle East. In case many of you guys don't know exactly what's going on, this is a bombshell that has hit the news. Many people don't really know what's going on here, but Congress quietly moved to integrate U.S. and Israel militaries. So, in case many of you guys don't know what this means, that means that the war criminals in the Middle East that are committing genocide right now on both the Palestinian and now they're doing it in South Lebanon, their crime that they have committed against humanity is now going to be burden upon the American people. It's not going to be something that the American people will have to carry. The U.S. and the Israeli military are not going to join together, which means whatever crime these people are going to be committing in the Middle East, it's not going to be the responsibility of the United States of America. This right here is the most dangerous thing that has ever come across anybody's screen. And the reason why I say that, I'm not going to read this out to you guys, but this right here, there's more down, by the way. This is the list of the war crime that has been committed since 1948, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not going to go ahead and read this whole thing out to you guys because I don't want this whole video to be lasting a very long time. But take my word for it. I was doing my research, I was listening, and I went ahead and list down the war crime these people have committed. And to be honest, I skipped some of them, to be honest, because it would be too much. It would have been way too much. I stopped exactly where obviously October 7th happened. And from there, we can also tell that these people have just unalived over 200 journalists. Why? Because they don't want what's happening in there to come out whatsoever. On top of that, the Palestinians who are buried underground on the rubbles that we don't even know of. So whatever numbers they have out there, add more to it. If this is 70,000, just go ahead and just sum it up to over 100,000. This is why I said they have killed far more than we can possibly count, because you also have to keep in mind, when a bomb drops directly on people, the damage is so massive that it just completely destroy the body to where you don't even know if somebody was there or not. So all those people are not being counted for. This is what these people have done in the Middle East. And now they are trying to take their problem and now make it the people of America's problem. That's what they're trying to do. That's why they're trying to integrate the U.S. Army with theirs. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I figured, you know what? Let's go ahead and react to a couple of minutes of Tucker Carlson pretty much going over how genocidal, how evil and barbaric these people are in the Middle East. Therefore, let's go ahead and listen to it, and I'll just get my commentary throughout it, and I'll pause when I think it's enough.
Back in April of 1994, some of the worst atrocities of the modern era broke out in the landlocked Central African country of Rwanda. To make a very complicated story short, the dominant tribe in Rwanda, the Hutu tribe, which controlled the government, had the majority of the population, for a bunch of different reasons, rose up under the direction of their leaders and attempted to exterminate the minority tribe in the nation called the Tutsis. And for 100 days, they did their best. They killed hundreds of thousands of them, more than 500,000 of them, many with machetes or burned alive or buried alive. And they raped even more than that. And not just raped, but literally corralled AIDS patients in AIDS hospitals and sent them out to rape Tutsi women and to affect them with HIV, which they did. It was horrifying. And as the details of what happened during what is now referred to as the Rwandan genocide filtered out to the rest of the world, people were stunned and nauseated by it and really bewildered that something like this could happen. Not that long after the most famous genocide in history in the 1940s in Europe. To which we'd all said, well, that could never happen again. Well, it did. A version of it did happen in Rwanda in 1994. But what was even more distressing and in some ways shocking was that the world knew it was happening as it happened and did nothing to stop it, and in most cases said nothing about it, even when it was in progress. From the very beginning, 4 days after the genocide in Rwanda started, a Swiss journalist in Kigali, the capital, published a piece in a French newspaper saying, I have interviewed 8 officials, and there's a genocide going on in Rwanda. This ran in a Western paper and then was picked up in other Western papers, but no one did anything.
And the reason why no one does anything is the same reason that's quite, currently happening right now in Gaza. It's because these people are corrupt, they are just corrupt to the core. Either that or they have blackmail on them and they're in position to pretty much keep everybody hush hush. These politicians that we see, people think that they're there for our own benefit, when in reality, these guys are just there to just give us the idea that we have free will, we have freedom to choose who gets in office and who doesn't get in office. Truth of the matter is, people like Miriam Edelson have already picked out exactly who's going to be running in office. And so Donald Trump, now Ed Garin of Kentucky, they're going to be answering to her. They don't answer to the American people. This is why Donald Trump, when he was having the speech in Tel Aviv, he said that he asked Miriam Edelson, what country does she love more, America or Israel? And he said she didn't answer, which means it's the state of Israel. He is pretty much admitting to us that the people who run Congress, the people who he answers to, do not have the benefit of American in mind. Therefore, if anything happens on the other side of the planet that America is funding, America is supposed to pretty much protect the people that is doing it for, which is the state of Israel. And the reason why I'm saying that is because of this. You'll see why.
So the Red Cross knew it was happening. The UN knew it was happening. There were UN troops in Rwanda. The French government knew it was happening. There were French troops there. The nation of Israel knew it was happening. Israel had been a supporter of the Hutu government for decades. In fact,
there you go, ladies and gentlemen. That's why the United States didn't do anything about it. That's why the Red Cross and UN did absolutely nothing about it, because these people have been in power for so long. People think that it's only now that they started to get in power. No. I mean, if you go all the way back, these people are behind the assassination of JFK. And to this day, nobody has been held accountable for it. Nobody. And on top of that, USSR Liberty. Nobody has been held accountable for it. 7/11, nobody has been held accountable for it. And then on top of that, you also have the E-files. Nobody has been held accountable for it. And then you have the Charlie Kirk assassination. Nobody has been held accountable for it. Every single time when there's a major crime that happens that America is involved in, and we know it's a crime, and nobody gets held accountable for it, just know 100% of the time it's going to benefit the state of Israel. 100% of the time. Prime example, Iran. The first day of the war, they killed over 160 little girls. Has anybody been held accountable for it? Nope. Why? Because the state of Israel is going to benefit from it.
It seems pretty obvious that some of the bullets and grenades used to murder Tutsis were sold to the Hutu government by the Israelis. And in fact, there's some evidence, apparently, that the Israeli government sold weapons to the Hutu government during the genocide, which were used to murder Tutsis. We say apparently because the documents surrounding this have been classified. They're under seal per orders of an Israeli court.
That's because, they're implicated all over it. That's what happened when the JFK file was released. They were implicated all over it. With the E-file that has been released, and by E-file I mean Epstein file, they're implicated all over it. Although we're supposed to see all the files, guess what? We've only got half of it. The other half, you don't get to see that. And then people started to make some connection. The big connection that you have is in September 2021, between that little range right there, it's completely blocked out. Nobody know what happened during the E-file in that little region. Why? Because our greatest allies involved in it.
Grounds that were they to become public, it would be bad for Israel's image globally. So the Israelis knew, and the Clinton administration famously knew it was happening, but for domestic political reasons, didn't act to stop it. So the lesson is something horrible, in fact, genocide can happen. The world can know it's happening and allow it to happen. That's the lesson. And it's a lesson that a young Harvard law student called Samantha Power thought about a lot as she was getting her degree in Cambridge. How can a genocide take place within living memory of the Second World War and the civilized world does nothing about it? Well, in 2002, she published a book on that exact question. The book was called The Problem from Hell. He won the Pulitzer Prize and all kinds of other prizes. And Samantha Power's case was pretty simple. The world cannot allow genocide to happen again. If people find out this is happening, they have to act. That's the mark of civilization. Do you stop mass murder of civilians on ethnic grounds, genocide? And if you don't, then you're not civilized. The United States, she wrote, has a moral obligation to intervene with force if it determines that a genocide is underway. What's the point of having the world's largest military if you...
I mean, let's be quite honest. The reason why I'm laughing is because America is like, they don't even... Trump doesn't even give a damn about his own citizens. That's just the fact. In my opinion, I genuinely think that Trump has been like sending an SOS message for so long, but Americans have been so dumbed down that they can't seem to catch on. Everybody can pretty much unanimously agree. Anybody who pretty much pays attention to the media and pays attention to politics to a certain level can agree that Congress has been taken over. America is no longer working in the favor of its citizens. Yes, they will feed you little breads and crumbs here and there just to keep you docile and keep you, keep your mouth shut so that way you don't do an uprising. But ultimately, they are working in the favor of another country, of another state. For some reason, we do not have money to provide for for healthcare. But every single time there's a war that's benefiting a country in the Middle East, we somehow squeeze billions of dollars out of our ass.
You can't at least try to prevent a genocide. Well, as noted, she was lauded for this. The book changed her life. She became one of the most famous people in the world. And in a fairly short period of time, a close advisor to then candidate Barack Obama. He was elected in 2008 and promptly made her the chairman of the Atrocity Prevention Board. You may not have known such a thing existed, but it does.
So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and skip it forward. But in conclusion, although she said we shouldn't let it happen again, the genocide that's going on right now in Gaza, she is there you go. That's the whole gist of that. So let me just go ahead and skip forward a little bit, and then I'm gonna show you guys another crime that our greatest ally is also involved in. So here's another part that Tucker Carlson gets into. In case many of you guys don't know the context today, if you read the Bible pretty much talk about the Amalek. And the Amalek are a group of people who God commanded to go and each and every single one of them, like the sheep, the cattle, the baby, everything, just completely take all of them out. So with that context in mind, Benjamin Netanyahu decided to stand on the podium and pretty much call the Palestinian Amalek, therefore calling out for the genocide of everything that's breathing in Gaza.
But what's even more interesting is that she's not alone in this. Everybody knew from the first week after October 7th that Israel planned to commit genocide, traditionally defined genocide, targeting a population because of their bloodline and trying to exterminate or move them. Everyone knew this because Israel announced it. Twice in October of 2023, the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, said out loud in a public speech, the Palestinians are Amalek. Amalek, a reference that many in the West didn't get, but everyone in the region understood. And it's a reference to 1 Samuel 15. The first verses in it, which you should read, because it tells you a lot about what Israel's doing now. But those verses describe God's command to eliminate a tribe called the Amalekites. And not just the draft age men, but all of them, including children and infants. All of them. Kill all of them. Destroy all of their property. Slay all of their animals. This is God's command.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that's also one of them right there. And then, of course, he said two people, but I'm going to go ahead and say the third one. The third one is Yoav Gallant, which he used to be the in position of the, I forgot the exact position, that he recently just retired or he got fired. I don't know exactly what goes on, and to be honest, I don't give a damn. But what happened was he got on the podium and he pretty much told his soldiers, by the way, no water, no food, no electricity. These people are human animal. Therefore, calling out for just complete wipe. That's why they're dropping white phosphorus. That's why they're bombing Palestinians indiscriminately. That's why the whole entire place looks like a complete parking lot. It's unlivable and it's completely destroyed when you see it from a drone view of it. I'm going to go ahead and stop it right here, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want this video to go on for too long, but you get the whole message now, ladies and gentlemen. These people who are behind these crimes are now wanting to go ahead and join in with the United States Army. You have to keep this in mind. They're not joining because they feel bad and they're like, oh, okay, time for us to leave the state of Israel and come over here and protect the United States. No, they're joining because they want their crime to be pushed, to be shoved to the Americans. They do not want to take responsibility for anything they do. That's how you have to understand these people's mindset. They are forever victims. No matter what they do, they will forever be the victim. Let me go ahead. There you go. They will forever be the victim. This is why they're trying to integrate with American. This is why, and on top of that, they're also trying to benefit from, whatever the soldiers benefit from. They also want This is the motherlode of all bad ideas here, ladies and gentlemen. So what I recommend is, if you're watching this, I recommend you get on the street. I recommend you go and tell the government, hey, we don't like this idea. After what these people have done, we shouldn't even be talking to these people. All right? We shouldn't even be interacting with these people. They should be cut off. But I'm going to go ahead and keep it right there, ladies and gentlemen. If you made it this far, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys up in the next video. Assalamu alaikum. Come on. You made it this far. Is it really that hard to just hit that little tiny subscribe right down there? And if you don't hit the subscribe, at least leave a little comment and leave a little, like button somewhere down there. And I'll see you guys in the next video.